Good day, everyone. My name is Allison Runcie, and I am the director of our nonprofit department here at Advisicon. I'd like to welcome you to today's training on Microsoft Planner. We have with us today SHAUN PALAKIKO, one of Advisicon's project coordinators. He'll be sharing with us some tips on how to manage your tasks using Microsoft Planner. So take it away, SHAUN.
Thank you, Allison. Good day, everyone. Yes, thank you for joining us for our Tech Thursdays with the Advisicon nonprofit group. We enjoy teaching, so really thank you for taking the time to give us this platform to share what we enjoy doing, and that's improving your productivity, purpose, and your impact using tools, technology, and training. All right, well, a little bit about me. So my name is SHAUN PALAKIKO. I have a background in math education, so that's why I enjoy teaching. But having that background means I have a lot of problems. The good thing is that I enjoy problem solving, and that's what we do at Advisicon. We partner with groups and organizations and say, tell us where it hurts. Tell us the problems that your organization is facing, and we aim to resolve those using technology, tools, and training. My experience is using Microsoft 365 tools. So the tools that you're probably most familiar with: Word, Excel, Planner, of course. That's why we're here today, and the golden one being Teams. Teams is kind of seen that being the integration hub for all our Microsoft 365 tools. But we're here to focus on Planner for today. I've been teaching for nearly 10 years. Enjoy it. And again, thank you for this platform today. Let's move into our agenda. Again, this is what we like to do at Advisicon. Our mission: deliver tools, technology, and training to maximize your impact, productivity, and purpose. Today, our agenda, we're going to talk about task management. If you weren't sure about where does Planner fit, that's what it is. It's a task management tool. Microsoft has many task management tools, and we want to pair you with the right tool that fits the task. Not all tools are best suited for your task. So we'll explore what size tasks are you looking at, and what tool is best to pair with that. Of course, we'll do a demo. That's the favorite part. Hopefully, maybe you'll even have some questions as we do that demo. Maybe you've already dived into Microsoft Planner and you just want to see what's some best practices, and that's what I'll also offer, best practices. And of course, we'll have some question and answer time at the end. Task management. Tool fits the tasks. Whether you know it or not, everyone has some type of task management system. Whether it's Post-it notes on a board, maybe you use an app to track your tasks. Maybe you have a stack of files on your desk because for some reason having everything out in front of you works. Or you keep it all in a nice, neat notebook, a planner. Everything is in there. Well, there's definitely some pros and cons with however you might do your task management. In this time where we have a lot of remote work, it may be beneficial to move towards something that is where you can manage your tasks across different locations, so you don't all have to be in one place to see that one sticky note board. Maybe you work across different time zones, so you need something that is accessible anytime, anywhere, and to all your team. So that's why we want to say, I want you to think about right now, how do you do your tasks? Maybe you even do a hybrid of these, maybe for immediate task, oh, they just said something, let me write that down. And you'll just use sticky note, and that's fine. But ultimately, where do you go for your source of truth? Where do you go for your source of, I did that or I didn't? After I'm done with my meetings, emails, wait, what am I supposed to do? Where do you go for that list? And that's what you want to ask yourself. And then, does Planner fit that need? All right, so here are some different sizes of task management tools within Microsoft. We'll start with the basic task management. So usually every task has some kind of name. and some kind of description to go with it. Whether, maybe it's as simple as pick up milk at the store. Very basic. You might even have due dates, and you even want to know, are they complete or not? You'll be able to check it. And yes, we are focusing on the software for task management. One thing about or that might keep it at a basic level of task management is that it's just a single resource. It's just you working on that task or that list, and really you don't need to see anyone else's tasks, and you don't need anyone to see your tasks. So that's again, that's the basic level of task management. I'm going to pass over medium, and we're going to go to what may be the advanced tasks management. Things like time-phased schedules. If you have tasks that require a certain time block and even requires dependencies, the next thing, maybe that's a bigger tool that you want to use. If you would need to see percent complete, and I mean like within like 18, 27% complete, maybe that's an advanced level of task management. And if you need to see costs associated with that effort, based on an hourly rate, someone who has worked 1.25 hours, what are the costs that come with that task? So that's definitely an advanced task management system. That would be something put under the Microsoft Project tool. That's something we do advise and implement at Advisicon. Going back to the basic, that tool would be called To Do. It's been around for a while, and it has some great features. But again, what are your tasks like? Are they just kind of basic tasks? Are they advanced tasks? Well, that's some questioning and consulting that we could do with you to see which tool would be best. Today, here's what might fit your planner tasks. Everything in the basic, plus do you need to see the status of that task? Is it not started, in progress, or is it complete? That's all I need to know. Do you need a calendar associated with that task? It's not just a simple top-down sheet, but rather what deadlines do we have to meet with our tasks? Do you need visibility to not only your tasks, but maybe your team, your group's tasks? Maybe as a project lead or a group leader, you need to know where everyone is at in their progress. And then, more than that, can you communicate with those tasks, or does it all have to be email? That's where Planner shines really well. This is right fit, not too hot, not too cold, but just right, right, Goldilocks. So the right tool for the right tasks. So consider that when you are building your task list, which tasks might fit best. So what is the best fit for Microsoft Planner? Simple progress, okay? Not effort-driven, not cost-associated, just a simple progress. If you want a team board, you want to see everyone's tasks and progress, that's helpful. And then here's where Microsoft Planner can shine really well is with repeatable processes. If you, for example, have a sales intake cycle, and you always repeat the same things, get the right forms, get the right contacts, pass the right things to different departments. Well, that's a repeatable process, and Microsoft Planner can be set up with templates, and not just one template. You can set up a template for almost any type of process that you have. Consideration of where Microsoft Planner might not be a good fit. It's not a daily checklist. So I would not recommend it as your individual personal daily checklist. Again, Microsoft To Do might be the best fit for that. If you need reporting, if you need to be able to report against your tasks, a planner might not be the best fit for you. If you need, as I mentioned multiple times, if you need to show task effort, it doesn't show percentages of how far along on the task you are. And as I said before, costs. If you need to know costs associated with your effort, then this would not be the recommended tool for you. All right, what are some guiding principles that if you feel Microsoft Planner is the tool for you, what are some principles that going forward now, we decided on Planner, what are some best practices, some guiding principles? Well, one, keep it simple. I have seen people who use these task tools for for something bigger. They put too much in it. It's amazing how they can do that. But you run into the challenge of, or where their strength is you have one or two people who hold that tribal knowledge, that knowledge only your group knows. And heaven forbid, if they're not there, all of that processes goes with them. So we really want to simplify the process with a simple board, a simple card system. And that's the second bullet there, define the process. And really, that might be the hardest thing because Microsoft leaves Planner board almost without limits. If you look at the board here, you have just a free text field. So many things could go in there. Are you putting different dates? Are you putting locations of your events? This could be used for almost anything. It doesn't specify. Attachments, what kind of attachments are you going to add? What kind of comments? What is the comment section used for? So you really want to sit down as an organization and say, here's what we want to do with these functions, these processes. Also, as general a rule, we've seen people who have used Planner as their what we call program, meaning that they can see all their projects in one board. And really, that's too much weight. That's too much. There's too much security concerns about using too many ideas on one board. And I'll break down more as we go into our demo. But I want to highlight that one project or one endeavor should have one planner board. Okay, again, that's part of the simplicity. Keep that match. One project, one planner board. If you have many projects going on, you elevate to the next level, calling it a program, right? So if you have a program, if you have many projects, that's where you're going to have many planner boards. So guiding principles, structure, before you even start using Planner, make sure we have these things in place to guide us going forward. All right, and now the fun part, we get to do a demo. Okay, welcome to Microsoft Planner Board. Obviously, I've built this one out some so we can see what a fun end product will look like. First, I just want to go around and just navigate around. I'm not going to dive into the tasks yet, just looking around. Okay, so obviously you have your title here. You can pin the board. You can make it one of your favorites at the top because maybe you are working on it daily, so you want to pin it there. There are features within these with these ellipses here, so you can control members. You can see associated files. You can see associated notebooks, sites. You can even copy the plan. That's what I was talking about, making a template. Then you can even change the settings. This is where I change the background from a simple canvas to maybe something a little more interesting to look at. Here's where you can also control your groups. You can make this a public channel, private channel. So these are some of the privacy settings. And I'm going to touch on this again, but it's worth repeating that you really want to control who sees the board. If they really don't have a task on it, even, I would say don't let people in on that board. And it's just controlling the flow of the information. All right, notifications. This is a fun one. You want to send emails between your team. Do you want it so that everyone gets an email? Do you want to see when someone assigns a task to you? And do you want to see when your due dates are coming up? Very helpful reminders. And so those are natively built into Planner. You don't have to build those out. So those are available. Let's go around, see some of the other features. Charts. So this was the board view. Also, maybe you've heard of it called a Kanban board. This really is supposed to be like sticky notes on a board. And so that's the board view. We go into charts. What are some of the features we have? Where's each task at and how many are left? Buckets. Buckets are just your way of organizing it. And I'll talk more about buckets. Really, there's a lot of ways to organize Planner. That's one of its strengths. But buckets, in this case, I've kind of just laid them out by phases. Phase 1, 2, 3, to be reviewed, and what's completed. You can look at priority levels. You can even look at who has how many tasks assigned to them. So by this, you would say Sarah has the most. And good thing is that we don't have anything unassigned. Everything is accounted for. So again, that's that visibility across your project or your endeavor. Schedule might also be called a calendar. You can see where are the tasks. Now it is at the month view, which is good. For this, maybe you have every month you have certain tasks to do. But if you want to drill in a little deeper to just this week, you can see the breakout of those tasks. Nice feature is that it will highlight those that are due or near due. So here we are on Thursday, and I've got 2 tasks that are overdue, and this one due today. So it will highlight that for you as a project leader. That can be helpful. All right, back to the board. Here's where you can control membership, who comes into the group. And then when you want to remove them, a good practice would be if you're done with this project and you have no longer work to do, it might be a good idea to remove it. But again, that's a business rule for you and your organization to decide. We'll get into filters and grouping in just a moment. Let's dive into what does the task card look like. All right, so well, I'll start a blank one so you can see. So it starts off just here, and you can say new task, set a due date. This is due next week, and I'm going to assign it to Sarah because she doesn't have enough, right? Okay. Now we just, high level things. Now let's open it up some more. You can add labels. You can, there are 25 different labels, and you can edit them to be what you think your company, your organization needs. Now, what I suggest is, labels can be used in so many different ways. So you really have to think through as a department, what's the best use of your labels? My recommendation is that you use it for either departments or individual roles. Now, why I say roles is because then that task is interchangeable no matter who sits in that role. If you have someone newly onboarded, they can slide right into that role. You can tell them, come look at the board where you see your title, that's your task. So easy transitions with new personnel, team members. So wide open, which sometimes gets organizations stuck, but so useful because it's so wide open. All right, let's just add this to the project management office. With bucket, I didn't mean it to be in phase 2. That actually needs to go back to phase 1. So you can change that here. Progress, this is what I was mentioning about the simple progress. Is it not started, in progress, or complete? And as maybe I'm Sarah's supervisor or maybe the project manager, I'm not going to progress this for Sarah yet. She will progress when Sarah is ready to say, yep, now I'm working on it. All right, Sarah, I need this to be done urgently. Please drop all your other tasks because you have none other, right? And please focus on this. And I'm saying, Sarah, I need you to start today, be done by, maybe we'll give Sarah an extra day there. Notes, again, you could say whatever you want. Here's where I might put a description of the task. Checklists. Here's where you have your opportunity to put subtasks to the task here. So you can add those in. And what's nice, you just hit enter and it goes to the next one. Okay. Notice these options popped up. Which one of these, and you can only pick one, might you want to show on the card? Well, maybe I want Sarah to look at this quickly and say, okay, I understand what this is. Or say, okay, what are those steps again? Let that show on the front of the card. Attachments are available. Microsoft's AI says, hey, you're using, the title of your board is Planner Board. Let's see other things that have the word with the word planner in it, and suggest that we add that on. So I'm going to add this because you're right. The planner board needs the planner outline. Also, where can you get these attachments? It can come locally from your computer. Teams, you can pull it from Teams, or you can just get any link to any URL. So for example, maybe I want Advisicon homepage to be on there. So I just go to advisicon.com, and I'm going to copy, and then put it there and say homepage. Okay, lots of flexibility within a task. All right, comments. Comments, they're useful in that they can really communicate around this task. There's one caveat about that, and that being for Sarah or anyone to see these comments, they have to enter a comment first. I know that seems kind of strange. It's like, well, it's assigned to Sarah. Can't I at Sarah? Not yet. Maybe one day the functionality of Planner will be built out, but right now, the only way Sarah's going to know that Sarah has a comment here is if Sarah opens this task and adds a comment to that. And I'll show you what that looks like in one moment. Sarah, let me know if you need any support on this. And yes, you can add emojis. I enjoy adding emojis. As we work remotely, sometimes it's difficult to see your colleagues' faces and just enjoy having a smile. So emojis can add to that. And as a project lead, as a supervisor, maybe you need to add those in to lift the morale of your team. You are a leader. You set the tone. And if you are emoji happy kind of person, it might be a better work environment. You feel out your team, see what works best for you and your team. All right, I'm going to send that. Now, Sarah's actually going to get an email saying that she has a new task, but she won't get an email about this. Let me show you what that email process might look like. So here's a task that Allison was assigned. And I did say, hi, Allison, let me know if you have any questions. And Allison came into the task, read the details here, and then came to the bottom and said, I will get right on it. Now, anytime I message Allison back, now Allison will automatically get an email. So she doesn't have to come to the board. She doesn't have to open it in her browser. That can be a notification tool. And yes, emoji happy again. That's a quick look through the task. I mean, and that's really the meat of Planner. Again, I encourage you as an organization, define the functionality of each section. What does notes mean? What does comments mean? Okay, so that's the task cards. Now, I come in and let's say I'm Sarah with all the tasks. I really don't need to see everyone else's task. So I want to look at just what is relevant to me. And that's where filters comes in. Notice filters there's many types of filters. When is it due? Okay, so, what's late? I need to contact Robin. I need to see Sarah. What's going on? I'm going to clear that. Maybe I want to see what's due next week. It's Thursday. Let's see what's happening next week so I can start to lay out my schedule there. Okay, all right. Those look like they're. Oh, Allison's is in progress. Sarah, you haven't even started your task yet. Well, that's just I just assigned it to her. But you can see how the filters are helpful. What I started with saying was Sarah comes into the board and Sarah wants to see just what is on her to-dos. So I filtered just by Sarah. And now I can see, well, Sarah's got a lot here going on. And here's one of the urgent tasks that I just assigned. And so I'm going to say, you know what, Sarah, maybe it's not best to assign it to you. And I'm going to change the assignment from Sarah. Oh, let me use my high level visibility again. Who Oh, it's filtered by Sarah. So if you come in and you're like, hey, where's all the assignments? Look up here. You're on a filter. All right, who doesn't have much work? All right, Allison and Robin. Let me see where their tasks are at. Well, Robin has one due, and she's communicated that she's running into some trouble with that. So I'm going to assign this to Allison. Allison, you get to take the lead on this. I'll reiterate this at the end, but it is my encouragement that one task have one person, one assignment. It is possible to assign multiple people. The reason I wouldn't encourage that is because of a human tendency called diffusion of responsibility. If there's more than one person who could take action, then I don't have to, right? Well, that's why I would say don't assign multiple people. Leave that on one person's to do. If you're assigned on the board, you can see all the tasks, so you don't have to be assigned to see them. So that's why I might just do one person at a time on the board. All right, I'm going to read Rose's question. Can I link tasks listed in Planner in To Do or an Outlook calendar? That's a great question, Rose. I will answer that. The answer is Teams. And Teams has an app called Tasks by To Do and Planner. And notice those names, To Do and Planner. And they've integrated a point, and that's really what Teams is an integration hub, and says, if you got tasks in To Do, you find them here. If you got tasks in Planner, you'll find them here. And I'll show that to you at the end. Okay, so we were playing with the filter. Here's where I also talked about be intentional how you use your labels. I have a button that says high priority, right? I don't need another label. I wouldn't recommend using another label for individual people, right? Because positions turn over. So individual people may not be the best tag, and you individually tag with assignments. So that's why I would recommend using the departments or roles. That's what I would suggest. That way, finance can come in and say, all right, what is on the finance to-do plate? All right, finance, help Garth get this done. Finance, help Pavel with this. What are the challenges? And again, we can go in and make comments and progress that. All right, so filters, a great way to see things. Maybe I'll throw up one other scenario. Maybe you're just in charge of a phase, like I'm the phase 3 leader, and I only want to see phase 3 things. So, very helpful to just focus in on what you need to do at one time, especially if these tasks get, overwhelmingly number of tasks. What I did want to say about checklists, I've heard the question that, hey, can my checklist items be turned into a task card, as people have found out on Trello? And while that's a pretty cool feature, the short answer is no. You cannot take a checklist item, assign it to someone individually, or turn it into a task card. And if your checklist item needs more description, more subtasks, maybe it's not a checklist item. Maybe it actually is a full-blown task. And that for this one, Sarah actually needs, if Assemble had many steps, many departments to talk to, maybe Sarah actually needs a whole card just for Assemble. So I would make another card, or Sarah can do that herself and make a whole other card, Assemble, and write subtasks in there. Let me clear the filters. Let me take this question here. This is, how do you incorporate health into work in Planner, red, yellow, green, other than just being off track due to date? Have you ever used the labels for this feature so one can more easily filter by health? I haven't. I think that's a great idea. That I suppose that who would be responsible for flagging health? Maybe it's Robin, right? The person in charge of the task. So Robin says, need assistance. And so maybe Robin's going to add a label, and we're going to make a new one. What's the color of health? Maybe it's cranberry red. That looks pretty deep there. So I'm going to relabel this as SOS. So now that's one way you could do it. Again, so flexible planner if your organization has identified that. Do remember that a native feature is the priority section. So if I wanted to see something urgent, I could just filter by urgency, and that's already built in. But if you and your organization decide there's maybe degrees to the priorities, absolutely, you can use labels. Labels is just functionality is up to you. Good question. Okay, so really that's kind of the overview of tasks. I guess one thing that maybe as a suggestion for a workflow, if you look at these, this I've actually added a completed bucket, and so maybe Sarah can say, "Phew, hallelujah, I got this done," and now she's going to check it off. And while the completed tasks sit here, and maybe you want to do that, maybe you say, you know what, let all our completed tasks sit in the completed bucket. And that way, I just come down here and look at completed tasks. As a retrospect or a lessons learned, you can come back and sit with your team and say, all right, what have we got done this week? Okay, well, let's have a discussion about this one. What was good? What can we learn from this? Let's have a discussion about this one. What was challenging? What can we do better next time? So that organization level, again, so useful. And I would say, let's look at all the completed tasks. Now you just look at what's been done. Remember, this is a medium-sized tool, so you're not going to see progress. You're not going to see, for example, when I reassign Sarah to Allison, you're not going to have those markers. So pick the right tool for your tasks. If you have simple progress, that is what I suggest. Allison, your question is, do you need to manually move the task to be completed? No, great question. Right next to the card, right on the card, you get to just click here. It says mark task as complete. So click that and it's done. So Allison did extra work and she got it done right now, and she's going to click that, and then now it's completed. So my suggestion about moving it to complete was just as a personal preference. All right, I'm going to move into my last portion, and that is best practices. Many of them I've already mentioned, but I just want to highlight them again. I've showed you this board before. Hopefully you have a little bit better idea of how many features and functions there are within the planner board. And again, simple is best. Notice here, I didn't put too many details here. I said, please use master template, meeting date and time TBD. This can be your one source of truth, but how truthful does it need to be? Is it costs? You don't want to lose that cost. And again, some of the challenges with the planner board is that anyone who's not Garth could come in and delete that task. That's why I mentioned again about security. Keep just the people who work on it in the board. You don't need everyone to have access to it. So simple is best. Define the process. Hierarchy. I mentioned this before. Let one planner board be one project, one endeavor. And then if you have many projects or a program, then have many planner boards. There was a question earlier about, can you see all your tasks across all planner boards? Yes, and that's where Microsoft Teams will help with that. Okay, some other best practices. labels equals departments or roles. That way, whoever comes into the department, whoever comes into that role can easily find what they need to do. Buckets, many ways you can define buckets, right? You could define them by health, as one suggestion was, right? Are we, red, yellow, green, the stage? And, that's something you could do. So totally up to you how you define the buckets. My suggestion is that it's stages or phases of the endeavor. For example, maybe you are welcoming an ambassador, and you want to make sure everything is lined up well. So you want to say the flight for the ambassador, the hotel, the presentation, the attendance, many phases of this ambassador coming to your event, or keynote speaker. So that might be one thing where you want to make the stages or phases. And again, as I suggested, one task is one person. We don't get into diffusion of responsibility and start pointing, oh, I thought it was you. Oh, I thought it was you. Let one person be responsible. Other people can comment, can work on it, but let one person be accountable for that to get done. And that will improve the likelihood that it does get done. If you have a repeatable process, use a template, and that'll save you from having to restart, and rebuild. Security, again, only let the people that need to be in on the board. No version history, no undo. You can't say, oh, I didn't mean to delete that. It's done. So, but how do we, well, should I use Planner Board now? Is that the right tool for me? A little training will go a long way. A little so if you get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, then it's hard to see in the dark, right? But even just a little night light can help you get your bearings about where's the door frame. Okay, so all right, where's the kids' toys? Oh, okay, there they are. So having just a little bit of training, a little bit of illumination on how to use Planner Board can go a long way. So highly recommend taking some time to do training. Get a champion. Get someone who just loves Planner and says, hey, I'll show you. Oh, you have questions? Come ask me. Knight your champion on who's going to be, who's a resource, and who has the enthusiasm as you transition this into your organization. And of course, operate to change with grace. Everyone learns differently. Everyone learns at different rates. So give grace. Maybe as a leader, you're like, we need this yesterday. Well, that's on you as a leader to say, I need to schedule and phase it in and not overwork my team. If there is some urgency, create buy-in from the team, but do it always with grace. Take care of your team. All right, I'm going to address the questions now. The first one I want to address is the integration place to find all your to-dos. Okay, so here we are in Teams. There's an add-on or an app called Tasks by Planner and To Do. It doesn't come natively in the status bar here. You have to add it. You just click here, find an app, type Tasks by Planner and To Do. Here's where you could find tasks. These are the ones that, let's go to item. Yeah, these are the ones that come from To Do. So you can see I rarely use To Do. These are ones marked important. These are ones planned. And here's the big one, the ones that are assigned to me. So I have multiple boards that all meet here. So maybe you have multiple projects going on. Maybe it's the same task over multiple projects, but you can still put in you can still find them all in one place. What are some of the things that come along with the task title? What board did this come off of? Any priorities? Because maybe, again, look, filters. I want to filter what is late. Oh, nothing's late. Maybe what is due soon? Okay, so due this week. There it is. Okay, so you can see some functionality right here within task by planner and to do. You can even dive into the different teams and find which planner board you want to use, but it all meets here. And if you're ready to check them off, here's some other features you can use. And yes, you can open it up here. Okay, and you see your task cards, all integrated nicely, neatly here from Planner. All right, let me read the question by Carrie in full, make sure I answered it. When a team is done with a planner, do you have any recommendations for archiving a board? I don't want to delete the board. Good thought, great thought. So I want to keep the information for historical reasons. Currently, it doesn't appear one can hide or export a planner. Right now, I changed the title to archive. Not ideal, but start any other ideas. Fascinating question. I guess I've never really reached the end of the planner board cycle myself. So great question. So maybe what I would do, well, let's look at some of the settings here. Definitely, I can unpin it, right? I can say, don't be in the top there. I think, when I think about ending a project, I might want to remove people from it and just keep myself on the planner board. And that way, really, no one can come in and no one can see it, no one can alter it. And I like your idea of adding a title in the front, maybe, like you said, archive. One of the limits with Planner is that it doesn't have connectors outside. It really is self-contained. So with all the data, it kind of stays right here, save for the assignments and the emails. So nice idea, Carrie, of what you're doing. I currently don't have any best practices. If something does come up, I'll be sure to reach out. Looking at Rose's question, can you show how to create a template for recurring process? Absolutely. It really is as simple as saying copy plan. Okay, I found it from the ellipses and copy plan. So where can I go with this? I asked myself, where do I want this planner board to exist? What group do I want to associate with this board? Why is that important? Because the group that you assign it to, all those members get on the board. Okay, so for example, if I assign this to our PMO, all 30 people are going to be assigned on this board. And maybe that's not what I want to do right now. So I can just start a new group. Notice that it is private. One drawback of setting, well, that's more like Teams. There's different functionalities that get added or removed depending if it's private or public. So we'd have to troubleshoot that within your specific situations. But all that to say, copy to pick a group. Okay, so let's say we build a new group. All right, what can I bring along with this template? One thing that you can't bring along is attachments. So if you have default templates, forms, I don't recommend that you use that on the template. You can set the same priorities. The first contact email needs to go out, so that's a high priority. I definitely don't recommend copying the dates unless you're fixing a board. But different project will have different dates. The other ones might be useful to replicate. The description, the checklist, and the labels, right? Those are the usual processes with roles, departments, things like that. And yes, of course, please retitle it, give it a unique name, new client. Okay, so that's simply how you copy the plan. Now, if someone wanted to bring the attachments, there is a way to do that. I'm going to copy plan again. The way that can be accomplished is if this is copied to the same group. And what do I mean by group? you can look up here for your logo. So this is my demo channel and my demo group. So I want to match this. So I'm going to look for that. Okay. Now, oh, look, attachments came over. That's because it has to do with what associated SharePoint site are attachments going to. Okay, SharePoint site. That's a whole nother topic. But basically, all your attachments, if they're not links, they are on a SharePoint site. People get excited because they're like, oh, yes, I can save things to a SharePoint site. The drawback is that it only saves in the highest level of the document library in that SharePoint site. So if you have subfolders within that SharePoint site, it will not save there, one, and it will not, and you can't move it. Once you attach it here, it's assigned at the highest level of the SharePoint document library, and if you move it, this link breaks. So, so what's the best practice then? Save the document to the SharePoint library, okay, get it sitting there, then link it from there. Okay, it's best to organize your documents separately and then link it here. And you absolutely can do that. Is this form complete? Yep. Saved it in SharePoint, linked it to the planner board, and then I can come in and say, let me see that document. Yep, complete. So that's another best practice. Well, it's been my pleasure to share this with you. If you would like to know more, reach out to us at Advisicon, and I'll let Allison take us away.
Thank you, Shaun. That was great. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you at our next training. If you have any questions or need more information, feel free to reach out to us by phone or contact@advisicon.com. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.